it shows us life via Moses from 1410 BC all the way to 1430 BC. So over 1,000 years, and there's 150 songs or psalms that tell us everything about what we should feel about creation, to what we feel about what our patriarchs went through how the kings acted and reacted, and how to deal with kings, to what happens when life, when we go into exile, all the way to restoration. So when you're looking at this book, I want you, when you're going through life, when you're having a moment where you're mad, when you have a moment where you say it's not fair, when you have a moment where you say, where is God? And where do I find this? How do I deal with this? If you look at the book of Psalms, you're going to find you in there. You're gonna find you in there. It's the longest and most quoted book in the Old Testament. So when you look at what is the most quoted book of the Old Testament, many of us would probably erroneously say Proverbs, but it actually is Psalms. It actually is Psalms. So the Psalms is a compilation of 5 different books. When you look at the books of Psalms, it's a compilation of 5. So book 1 is chapters 1 through 41. Book 2 is 42 through 72. Book 3 is 75 through 89. Book 4 is 90 through 106. And book 5 is 107. And by 107, I mean chapters 107. Not pages in your book. I'd help somebody. Because I just realized somebody's going to be looking, I was looking at page 107. That's not even where Psalms is. It's chapters and everything else. And so if you look at book 1, it's the chapters 1 through chapter 41. And the theme of these first 41 chapters, it deals with Genesis, man, creation, and it deals with this idea of how do we articulate worship about what God did. Now, Psalm is pretty cool because many of these words were written with the idea of to be accompanied by music. And so Psalms were written with liturgies and worship in mind, and so when you look at the writings of them, most of them were meant to be written with as either repeat leader, and then the leader says one thing and the people say another, call and response, or written with a music to be read with musical accompaniment. It was an idea of part of Israel's worship. So when you look at Israel's worship, they would oftentimes read the Psalms and sing these psalms or sing these melodies. That's why they would have times like Selah. The term Selah literally means to stop, pause, and think about it. But oftentimes there was also a musical interlude where after they said it, then they would have the musical interlude where you could reflect upon what you just said. It was not just meant to be lyrics that you just said and kind of went to the other. The idea was that and this is good even from a psychological and an adult education standpoint. Most theories will tell you that adults learn better when they do something and they take a moment to reflect. Well, that was not written by and that was not developed by Cohen, who is one of the great thought leaders in adult education. God said, I started that. Read this, stop, pause, and think about it. Say this, stop, pause, and think about it. Don't just say it and keep it moving. Stop, pause, and think about it. And so when we look at the books of Psalms, one of the things you're also going to see is they're different authors. David was an author, but David wrote about 73 of the Psalms. Then other authors wrote other psalms, like Korah, and some of the people of Korah wrote some of the psalms. Asaph, another writer, chief musician, wrote some of the psalms. And then there were several anonymous places where people were writing, and they were writing these psalms. And so when I'm reading the book of Psalms, all 150 chapters, remember, 75 were written by David. I believe 12 were written by Asaph. I think 2 were written by Moses and everything else. And so when I'm reading the Psalms, I'm reading a collection of books that have been brought together that span over 1,000 years. Wow. Now, and each book, which is cool, closes with a what we call a doxology. A doxology is nothing more than a short praise. So at the end of the book, no matter what situation, no matter what circumstance that we talk about, no matter what complaint we start with, we end up in a praise. Because at the end of the day, we wrap ourselves around, wait a minute, and that's who God is. Wait a minute, and God's in control. Wait a minute, and God's got it. Pull yourself together, this is who God is. And so they wrote these things. They wrote some of the Psalms in book 2 about were Psalms about deliverance and redemption, but it was pointing to Israel, and they were saying, as a nation, this is what God has done for us. Some songs were anthems, and that they wrote so that when they went into the sanctuary, when they had worship, they would sing these songs. Everything was about whatever we went through and wherever we were going through, we always end up in a praise. So this is one of the things we can learn from this book in particular is this, that most of us, when we go into a situation where we begin to wonder, doubt, and complain, you cannot stay there. Come on, sir. You've got to process your way through and get to a point where you acknowledge God's presence and power. If you just stay with the problem, you're going to end up in a dark place. If you just stay with the description of the circumstance and say, yeah, but let me explain to you how bad it is again. Yeah, but let me explain to you how frustrated I am. Yeah, but I don't want to move from my own experience and my own reality. And God is saying that is your reality, but your reality does not describe everything that's happening. And so one of the keys psychologically is this: you have to acknowledge that there are several realities that are happening at the same time. Yes, I feel this way. Yes, I'm experiencing this. Yes, I don't understand this. But also at the same time, yes, God is good. Yes, God is faithful. And yes, God can and is powerful. And so I've got to, so that's why I say Psalms gives you a great idea. John Calvin calls Psalms the anatomy to the soul. Which means that in Psalms, what you're going to see is every human emotion, a collection of every human emotion. You'll see depression, you'll see grief, you'll see joy, you'll see frustration, you'll see anger, you'll see all these things. So when I miss and I don't read the Psalms and I just liken it to a group of rhymes and everything else, then what I'm missing is God's message saying, let me tell you how to handle you. Because there's some places, listen, where you cannot be. Psalm is good because Psalm says, I acknowledge your emotion. So Psalm is not a clarion call to ignore what's happening, the situation, nor how you're feeling about it. But it is a command not to let your emotions in your situations be the things that dictate your reality. David would say, my foot almost slipped. So that's an acknowledgement. David would say, how could this happen? How could this be? David also said, man, I'm unsaved. I'm a man of unclean lips. He's like, my God, I messed up. So you can acknowledge the reality of your humanity without now being chained to the reality of your humanity. So Psalm is a great book, especially for those of us who struggle with mental health. It's an incredible book because it tells you there is a way out. And the way out is not to not acknowledge what I'm dealing with. There is a way out. There is a way up. And there is somebody who has been through what I've gone through. I am not the first to grieve. I am not the first to feel neglected. I am not the first to feel like God has done me some kind of way, or that life has done me some kind of way. That is not unique to me. One of the enemy's greatest ploys is to make us feel like our situation is unique, and that no one has ever dealt with this combination. But Psalm says, no, you are human, and you are experiencing a human experience, and it is painful, but it is not unique.
Thank you for worshiping with us today. If you liked this message, you can find the rest at cmllcstore.com. We invite you to join us again for our extraordinary worship services every Sunday at 10:30 a.m., Sundays at 4 p.m., and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central, where Dr. Moody teaches how to understand the Bible, and you can get all your biblical questions answered. We look forward to connecting with you. We ask that you subscribe to The Rock ATX on YouTube and follow The Rock ATX on Facebook and Instagram to stay connected to all The Rock is doing. You can also get connected on our website at therockatx.org. Again, thank you for worshiping with us, and be blessed.